Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is Shocktober, Volume 14, Franchise Horror. But at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, leave comments below. Let me know what some of your favorite horror franchises are. Now, this video is going to focus on different franchises throughout the history of horror. Some are newer franchises, some of them are older. Some of them, quite honestly, have never gone away. But I'm going to make the caveat right away. Number one, this is not a ranking video of any kind. I'm basically just including some franchises, not all. And I'm focusing on franchises, number one, that don't get as much attention as some other ones. But I want to contain more of the franchises that mean something to me. And you're going to see a lot of glaring omissions from this, okay? I can already see in the comments, where's Halloween? Where's Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Where's the Conjuring films? Where are the Child's Play films? There's a multitude of reasons why those franchises aren't included in this video. First and foremost, some of those franchises, quite frankly, I'm not a fan of. But more importantly, I don't have all of the films from those franchises. I basically have the ones from those franchises that I enjoy, and that's it. And because of that, I didn't want to include those. Just a peek behind the curtain, Halloween, for instance, which is, I know I'm going to get the most attention about. I am very, very hit and miss when it comes to the Halloween films. I absolutely adore the original John Carpenter classic, and I really like the next two installments. I don't like anything that came out after that. When the newest trilogy came out, I bought that one as a blind buy, and I enjoyed it for what it was. And I got the other two chapters of that trilogy very cheap. So I do own the newest trilogy. The problem is I don't like them. So that's why they're not included on this video. Same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I own the first two. That's it. Child's Play, I own the first four. That's it. So in the comments below, like I said, I want you to understand why those particular movies are not represented. So we're going to jump around a lot. This video is not going to have a whole heck of a lot of rhyme or reason to it. But like I said, I just wanted to highlight some of the collections that I have or some of the franchises that I have in my collection. We're going to start off with the Final Destination collection, which to this point has 5 films. Apparently, they are working on a 6th one right now. I don't know if it's a reboot, continuing the story. I don't know. But again, like most of the collections in this list, or in this video, rather, I'm hit and miss on this series. I absolutely adore the first 2 movies, and the 3, 4, and 5 are hit and miss with me. They do have moments, but for the most part, But the first 2 movies are awesome. And then we're going to go to the Purge series, which includes 5 movies, all 5 of which I own. The original, Purge Anarchy, Purge Election Year, which is my personal favorite out of the 5. Actually, these 2 right here are both really awesome movies, but especially Election Year. The first Purge, which is a prequel, and it's the weakest of all of the movies. And the Forever Purge. There is also a television series that lasted a year or 2. I never watched it. But the Purge movies, again, hit and miss with me. Really like the 2nd and 3rd movie, for sure. The 5th movie's okay. The 4th movie's okay. Or the first movie's okay. I don't like the first Purge at all. Now we're going old school. And we're going to start with a trilogy. Now, there's more than 3 movies, but I call them a trilogy. The Omen collection. This is my Scream Factory box set. I love the artwork on this. And it includes The Omen, Damien Omen 2, The Final Conflict, a television movie called Omen 4: The Awakening, and the remake of The Omen. Like I said, strike these 2. We're talking about the Omen trilogy. The original Omen movie left a huge mark on me as a child. I still prefer it to The Exorcist, believe it or not. And yeah, I love all three of the original Omen movies. Final Conflict is a little hit and miss, but Sam Neill's awesome. Now, if you're talking old school, we're going way back now to the 50s with my Scream Factory box set of The Fly collection. Again, awesome artwork on this as well. And this includes the original The Fly, Return of the Fly, The Curse of the Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and The Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz. Love all five of them to a certain degree. Return of the Fly is probably the weakest out of them, in my opinion, but the original movie with Vincent Price is an all-time classic, and I absolutely adore the Jeff Goldblum, David Cronenberg version. I think it's one of the best movies of the 80s, horror or otherwise. It's an incredible film. Love, love, love this collection. Then we're going to jump over to, there he is again, my Hellraiser Scarlet box set. Now this series has like 10 different movies, okay? At least. But I'm going with the original 3 trilogy, Hellraiser, Hellbound, and Hell on Earth. They're the only 3 that I own. They're the only 3 that I like. The Hulu reboot that came out a couple of years ago, I actually did enjoy for what it was. It could have been a lot worse. It's better than the Salem's Lot reboot that just came out. But there's no physical release of that. Now, if there was, I'd buy it. But this particular Arrow box set is way out of print. It has now, of course, been upgraded to 4K and such. I don't care. I absolutely love this box set. This is one of the crown jewels of my collection. And then we've got, boy, the Phantasm collection. This is the OG Welgo USA box set. Now, again, this has been re-released several times through the years, but this is the original one. And it contains all 5 Phantasm films. Phantasm, Phantasm 2, Lord of the Dead, Oblivion, and Ravager. Again, love, love, love the first 2. The third one is okay. The fourth one is okay. The fifth one is garbage. But I love this box set, and R.I.P. Angus Scrimm. Then we're going to jump over to like one of the newest franchises, most successfully anyways, the Saw franchise, or the Jigsaw's franchise. And in this particular case, I do own all of the Saw films. The first 8 are on that box, then Spiral, and Saw X. And of course, they are working on a new Saw film as well. I've gone on record many times. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise in general, but there's a couple of the films in this box set that I really like, and Saw X was a pleasant surprise. That was actually really good. Spiral, nah, that movie sucks. And there goes half my movies. Then we're going to another one of my crown jewels for my collection. The incredible Friday the 13th collection from Scream Factory. And again, comes with all the bells and whistles. And contains all of the Friday the 13th movies, which I covered when I ranked these. So I'm not going to go through each movie individually. But yes, this is... If you have I understand a lot of my friends overseas, you can't really get this very, easily. But if you're here in the States or Canada and you haven't gotten this baby yet and you're a fan of these films, what are you waiting for? This box set's awesome. It really is. And then we're going to my Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Again, this just got recently announced that they are going to be dropping the individual titles on 4K. Which means I will probably never get my Blu-ray box set that I wanted for years. But as it is, I still love this original DVD box set. And again, it contains all of the films with the exception of Freddy vs. Jason and that Abomination remake. I absolutely love this franchise. If I had to rank my franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street would probably be in number 1. It probably would be. Number 1, well, it'd be in the top 3 because we're going to get to the other 2 at the end of this video. Okay, now we're going to go to some foreign horror with the Wreck collection. And again, this is another Scream Factory box set. Consists of 4 films. Rec 2, Rec 3 Genesis, and Rec 4 Apocalypse. These movies come from Spain. And the first Rec movie was remade as Quarantine. The first 2 Rec movies are unbelievably great. I mean, they are nerve-shattering great. The third one is fun. Excuse me. It's goofy, but it's fun. Fourth one, nah, that movie sucks. But the first 2 Rec movies, like I said, I can't recommend those movies enough. They are phenomenal. And then we are going to go to Sam Raimi's Evil Dead franchise, which again consists of 5 movies. Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. And this is my Scream Factory Steelbook. I got to give that one a little bit of love. I mean, look at that bad boy. But then they came out with Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is a TV series, the reboot of Evil Dead, and Evil Dead Rise. I love every one of these, including Evil Dead Rise and the reboot of Evil Dead. Those 2 movies get too much hate. And believe it or not, kind of, the MVP of this entire thing is the TV series Ash versus the Evil Dead. I cannot recommend that show enough. It is just so much goofy fun. Now, these 3 movies are straight up horror flicks. I mean, nightmare fuel. These 3 are basically horror comedies. Army of Darkness is flat out comedy, let's face it. But the one thing that they all have in common, other than Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell's involvement one way or the other, is the fact that every one of these are outstandingly entertaining. I love the Evil Dead series. Nightmare on Elm Street's one of my top 3. This one would definitely be another one of my top 3 franchises. But we're going to end with the one that would probably be the third of those 3, and it's not even an official franchise. But we're talking about George A. Romero's Dead films. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and I do not own Survival of the Dead. So I know I'll get a lot of comments saying, hey, where's Survival of the Dead? Well, I don't really like Survival of the Dead. I don't really like Diary of the Dead. Land of the Dead, I've touted on the 2005 video. I don't need to go into that one too much more. But these 3, I will absolutely love. As a matter of fact, I'll strike what I said earlier about Nightmare on Elm Street. George Romero's Dead saga is my favorite horror franchise of all time. And here's why. Number 1, first and foremost, Night of the Living Dead was the first horror movie I ever remember watching. My late brother Greg introduced this film to me on TV late night when my parents weren't home, when I was way too young to watch it. And it scarred me, but it immediately got me intrigued with horror movies in general. Then I saw Dawn of the Dead, who knows, probably in 1981 or so, 1982. I did not see this theatrically. It was rated X, basically. And I saw it on video. And I think it's the greatest horror movie of all time. I didn't say it was my favorite of all time, but it is the greatest horror movie of all time, in my opinion. It's epic. I love it. And then we have the dark horse in the trilogy, Day of the Dead, which came out in 1985. This one I did see theatrically. And like Dawn of the Dead, it was released unrated. But I had turned 18 right before the movie came out, and I was lucky enough to see it theatrically, and it bombed because, again, it was rated X. It got no mainstream press or anything like that. But Day of the Dead blew me away. The effects in Day of the Dead are on another level. I think they're possibly the best gore effects in the entire decade. Nothing will match American Werewolf in London or The Thing or The Fly as far as practical effects go in the 80s. But as far as gore effects go, I don't think there's any match to Tom Savini's work in Day of the Dead. This movie is dark. Most of the characters are annoying. All they do is yell at each other a lot. But when the gore happens and the kills happen, they are memorable. And all three of these movies are memorable. They all have social messages. I'm not going to go into it. Everybody knows. But George Romero, like I said, especially with Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, created a genre. There had been other zombie movies and ghoul movies and things like that before Night of the Living Dead. But nobody really thought of flesh-eating zombies until that movie came out. And George Romero just basically created an entire genre that lives on today in many different ways. But you can't beat the original. The original Dead trilogy, to me, again, is just a masterclass in horror filmmaking. And that's it for this franchise edition of Shocktober. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, possible subscribe, more or less. And we'll see you in the comments section. Again, I know I'm going to be getting a lot of hate about Halloween. And again, I want to stress, I love Halloween, okay? It is. It's, there he is on my blanket up there, okay? He is. Michael Myers is iconic, but I just don't like those other movies. I just don't. So, hope everybody's having a great day. We'll catch you on the next one.